Wisdom and knowledge. There's a distinction between wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom is the ability to discern inner qualities and relationships of things. Insight also can mean good sense or sound judgment, whereas knowledge is defined as a fact, the fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity gained through experience or association, acquaintance with or understanding of a science, art, or technique, and the fact or condition of being aware of something and the range of one's information or understanding. These are all from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Different uses for the word knowledge. So wisdom and knowledge are distinct. They relate to each other, but they are distinct. Now, a sage is one who has acquired wisdom. In the picture here, this is from the Nuremberg Chronicles from the Renaissance, and this shows the 7 sages of ancient Greece. And a sage is one who's acquired wisdom, whereas a philosopher is not a sage. A philosopher is one who loves and seeks wisdom that the sage possesses. So the philosopher is kind of in between the sage and the rest of us who don't have wisdom. The philosopher is seeking wisdom and trying to obtain it. So wouldn't you think that if you had knowledge, you would have wisdom? Not necessarily. Knowledge, all these things, the fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity, acquaintance with or understanding science, art, or technique, being aware of something, information, these are all passive things. These are tools, basically. And they rely on things like memory. So, for example, you can know something, but you only know it when it's in your consciousness or in your memory. Your memory can draw it into your consciousness. But if you forget something or you can't remember it, you don't actually know it because you can't access that information. So information is different from knowledge, is different from wisdom. The internet is full of information, but it has no knowledge because it's not conscious. It doesn't have the condition of knowing something with familiarity. It simply is a storehouse of information. A human can have knowledge, and even animals can have knowledge. They can know something and they can be conscious of it. But that's different from wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to use that knowledge properly, to put things together because of the insight and the ability to discern the qualities of things. You can use the knowledge and put it together in the proper way, so where it leads you to the correct end all the time. So you can think of knowledge as a raw material like building blocks. And wisdom is the architect that's shaping it, putting everything in its place and allowing it to be something beautiful and useful. So wisdom is really what we want. There's nothing wrong with knowledge, but wisdom is actually the goal. Knowledge without wisdom is almost useless. If you don't know how to use it properly, then it's only good for what it's good for. And a quote from Arius Didymus, he says, "It is the view of Zeno and his Stoic philosophers that there are 2 races of men, that of the worthwhile and that of the worthless. The race of the worthwhile employ the virtues throughout all their lives, while the race of the worthless employ the vices. Hence the worthwhile always do the right thing on which they embark, while the worthless do wrong." Now, he doesn't use the word here, but this is essentially a description of wisdom. What is wisdom all about? It's about putting things in their proper place, using things correctly. So the worthwhile employ the virtues all their lives, and they always do the right thing, whereas the worthless do wrong. So someone who's worthless can have tons of knowledge, but if they never use it properly, they don't have wisdom. And St. Thomas Aquinas says in the Summa Theologica, "Wisdom is a kind of science, insofar as it has that which is common to all sciences, namely, to demonstrate conclusions from principles. But since it has something proper to itself above the other sciences, inasmuch as it judges of them all, not only as to their conclusions, but also as to their first principles, therefore it is a more perfect virtue than science." So in other words, wisdom is the edifice. It's the whole thing that makes everything work together. And all the knowledge, all the sciences that we can acquire, all that head knowledge, if it has to be put together properly in the correct order. and order is the key. The Greeks had an idea called logos, and this is the idea of the fundamental order of the universe. And in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And why would the fear of the Lord be the beginning of wisdom? Well, what that means is, if you fear the Lord, it means you understand that you have a place in the natural order. And so the whole idea is this concept of a unified natural order that is based on a mind. And that's what the cosmos is. And so wisdom is being in accord with that mind. It's being in accord with the natural order. And when you are aware of that order, and when you fashion your life in accord with it, that is the path of wisdom. It's the beginning of wisdom. So we're going to learn a lot of knowledge, but primarily we're aiming for wisdom. Wisdom is the important thing.